See Dorit Kemsley's stern message before RHOBH reunion. During a chat with Briefing on Bravo in February, Dorit opened up about her experience prepping for the dramatic sit-down with her castmates, hinting at loose ends that still need to be tied up among the group. Well, the reunion is always the time to have a voice, and you see in the season what you didn't film. So there are some things that we'll cover at the reunion. But it's always a great place to have a voice and to clear up whatever you need to clear up, Dorit shared at the time. And if there are things that you feel have been left unsaid, then that's the time. As we've seen in parts 1 and 2, Dorit definitely brought her voice to the reunion, calling out her castmates on grievances she had and sharing more details about her personal life these days. Paul P.K. Kemsley shared a statement addressing Dorit Kemsley at the RHOBH Season 14 reunion. During the reunion, host Andy Cohen read a statement from Dorit's estranged husband, Paul P.K. Kemsley, who was featured on the season amid his and Dorit's ongoing divorce. "I was invited to be part of the reunion, but declined because I don't believe engaging with Dorit in this forum would be constructive," he said, which Andy read aloud during part 1. "Dorit has made several mischaracterizations about me, but the one I must address is the claim that I am a bad father. That statement is both heartbreaking and false. It is deeply hurtful to me and, more importantly, to our children, who, despite Dorit's assertion, will inevitably see and hear all of this at a time not of our choosing." PK and Dorit share son Jagger Kemsley and daughter Phoenix Kemsley together. The British talent agent continued, "Those closest to us know the truth. Many have wanted to speak out, but I have asked them not to because the truth should never need a champion. I refuse to stoke a fire I did not ignite. The Dorit I married would never have allowed this, much less caused it. That woman embodied kindness, integrity, and grace. I can only hope this version of Dorit finds her way back to the person she once was." After hearing her ex's words, Dorit had one thing to say. "Listen, if I haven't changed in 14 years, then something's wrong with me." Dorit Kemsley's stern stand before the RHOBH reunion. The chill of late February lingered in the Beverly Hills air as Dorit Kemsley wrapped her silk robe tighter around her frame. The morning sun bled through the gauzy curtains of her master bedroom, once theirs, now strictly hers. A steaming espresso sat untouched on the mirrored vanity as she stared at her reflection. The woman looking back was not the Dorit the world once knew. There was steel in her eyes now, a tempered grace that came only from heartbreak and survival. The RHOBH reunion was hours away, and she was ready. Preparation, not performance. In a quiet moment before the glam squad arrived, Dorit sat cross-legged on the edge of her bed, scrolling through notes she jotted down in the Notes app on her phone. Little moments, slights. Conversations where her truth was twisted like an Hermes scarf caught in a storm. This was the time, the place where housewives turned confessions into confrontations, and silence was a currency no longer accepted. "I'm not just going to the reunion," she whispered aloud to no one but herself. "I'm arriving with receipts." The interview with Briefing on Bravo still rang in her ears. She had spoken calmly, diplomatically, but with intention. "The reunion is always the time to have a voice," she'd said. But today, it wasn't just about having a voice. It was about using it, clearly, without apology, and most of all, without fear. There were things left unsaid, yes, but not for long. Rehearsals in silence. As her team flitted around her, curling, brushing, contouring, Dorit retreated into herself. Her mind drifted to PK. There had been a time when she could predict his every move, every word. But lately he was an enigma in a Savile Row suit. She'd heard he declined the reunion appearance. "Coward," she muttered under her breath, though part of her knew it was more complicated than that. Then came the phone call, Andy's assistant. "He sent a statement," they said. Her heart stuttered. Of course he had. The room where it happens, the reunion set, was colder than usual. not in temperature, but in mood. The couches felt like thrones in a courtroom drama, and Dorit's dress, a silver column with crystal embroidery, felt more like armor than couture. As Andy Cohen took his seat, the lights dimmed, the cameras rolled, and the truth began to flow. But nothing could have prepared her for Andy's next words. "I have a statement from PK." Time stopped. PK's truth, Dorit's fire. Andy's voice was steady as he read. PK's words poured into the room like molasses, sweet in tone, thick with accusation. "Dorit has made several mischaracterizations about me." Dorit stared ahead, her spine like iron, her gaze fixed. She didn't blink. "The claim that I am a bad father." The words twisted like a dagger. Jagger, Phoenix, her heart squeezed. "The Dorit I married would never have allowed this." And there it was. A condemnation not of her actions, but of her evolution. The room was silent when Andy finished. Then Dorit spoke. "The woman she is." "Listen," she said, her voice a mix of silk and steel. "If I haven't changed in 14 years, then something's wrong with me." No one dared interrupt. She continued, "I gave everything to that marriage. I poured my soul into holding us together while trying to hold myself together. And if growth, if reclaiming my voice, makes me unrecognizable to him, then maybe he never really saw me in the first place." Her castmates looked on, some wide-eyed, others solemn. Even Erica leaned forward. "You don't get to write my story," Dorit finished. "Not in a statement. Not ever." Midway through the first segment, after discussing Erica's Vegas residency and Garcelle's ongoing tension with Kyle, Andy turned toward Dorit. He shifted his cue cards. "Before we go further, I have a statement to read. It's from Paul P.K. Kemsley." Gasps rippled through the room like champagne gone flat. Dorit's hand clenched the edge of her dress. "Andy, read." "I was invited to be part of the reunion, but declined because I don't believe engaging with Dorit in this forum would be constructive. Dorit has made several mischaracterizations about me, but the one I must address is the claim that I am a bad father." The room froze. "That statement is both heartbreaking and false. It is deeply hurtful to me and, more importantly, to our children, who, despite Dorit's assertion, will inevitably see and hear all of this at a time not of our choosing." The silence was suffocating. Those closest to us know the truth. Many have wanted to speak out, but I have asked them not to because the truth should never need a champion. The Dorit I married would never have allowed this, much less caused it. That woman embodied kindness, integrity, and grace. I can only hope this version of Dorit finds her way back to the person she once was. Andy set the card down gently. Everyone turned to Dorit. "You don't get to narrate my growth." Her mouth was dry, but her voice steady. "Listen," Dorit began, her tone velvet over steel. "If I haven't changed in 14 years, then something's wrong with me." Her castmates blinked. No one interrupted. "When I met PK, I was fresh-faced and eager to please. I believed in love, in partnership, in fairy tales that don't always come true." She glanced at Erica, then Kyle. "But over time, you stop ignoring the cracks in the glass, especially when the glass cuts you." Andy nodded. "You feel he misrepresented you." "No," she said. "I feel he revealed how little he respects the woman I've become." A beat. "He talks about the Dorit he married like she's gone missing. But maybe that Dorit was quiet when she should have spoken. Maybe she kept peace while sacrificing pieces of herself." Erica's lip twitched. Kyle looked down. The ladies react. The reunion's energy shifted. "Dorit, I have to say," said Garcelle, her tone soft but firm, "what you just said, that was brave." "Thank you," Dorit replied. "I'm not here to bash PK. I'm here to defend myself. Because when someone paints you as ungrateful, as unkind, when they twist growth into betrayal, that's not love. That's control in designer packaging." Sutton chimed in, voice shaking slightly. I've had people do that to me. They say they miss the old you, but what they really mean is they miss when they could control you. Exactly, Dorit said, the weight of support lifting something in her chest. Kyle finally spoke. We haven't always seen eye to eye this season, she began, but I admire your strength. We all come into this show thinking we're one person, and by the time the cameras stop, we've become someone else. It's not always pretty, but it's real. Resolution or reckoning. The conversation turned to more cast dynamics, but Dorit felt an emotional thread still buzzing. So before the end of part 2, she leaned in one final time. To PK, she said, addressing the camera, I never wanted this to happen in public, but you left me with little choice. Our children will see this one day, and I hope they know their mother stood up for herself, not because she hated their father, but because she finally loved herself enough to. Andy nodded solemnly. That's powerful.